Hello, hello. Welcome to the Wedding Reporter podcast. I'm here with Shafonne Myers today, and she is my personal business coach, and I'm so glad that we were able to reconnect today. And Shafonne is a media mogul who created the world's only site for plus-size brides, Pretty Pear Bride. She is also the CEO of a top wedding media company and digital marketing agency with over 20 wedding publications, of which she owns 8 of them, and it's called Isle Society. Shafonne is extremely knowledgeable in online marketing, personal branding, PR, and sales, and has helped with multi-million-dollar launches for her clients and business partners. She has closed over $20 million in revenue and knew her experience needed to be shared with others. Welcome, Shafonne.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, it's always so crazy when you hear,
I
when you hear
know.
your bio and you're like, gosh, I did do that. Like, it's
Yes.
crazy, but it is it's so true. Oh my gosh, it's great to hear. So,
All of your amazing accomplishments. So we're talking about plus size inclusivity today. You started
yes.
Pretty Pear Bride. I'm so excited to just tackle this topic and get it out there for everybody to hear. So let's take a step back though and tell us about your history in the wedding world and how you started Pretty Pear Bride.
Oh my gosh, it seems like it's so long ago. So long
Yeah,
ago.
I
I actually
know.
started out in the wedding industry as a planner. And I think
Mhm.
it's always so funny because most people, when they see me, they're like, oh, you used to be a planner. It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Because if there's people who come into the industry we know who don't have like the background, and it's perfectly fine. Then
Mhm.
when you see people who come and you're like, okay, I can tell. So as a planner, I was a plus size bride. As a planner, I kind of drew in plus size clients, not even knowing why or
Wow.
what I was doing. And I soon realized that I had clients coming to me that were plus size because they saw themselves in me. They were like, hey, I
Yeah.
want to work with someone who looks like me. And I think
Mm.
at that moment, I realized without even knowing that I realized, like, that's how people feel seen and heard. So when they
Yeah.
come to you, a lot of times you're not even knowing why, but there's something in you that they see that they like or that they gravitate to. And for me, it was because I was plus size and
Mhm.
how I carried myself. I'm a very confident person, I'm a very outspoken person.
Yes.
And a lot of times, wedding planning can be that time where you're like, I just want someone who's going to be my advocate, someone who's going
Yeah.
to stand up for me with my vendors, even with my family and friends sometimes. And it was just so funny because my husband was like, do you kind of realize a pattern here? And I was like, I just never paid
Yeah.
attention. And then from
That's
there,
cool.
I was like, I want to have a bigger impact. And I love planning. And I still work with a lot of planners. I do a lot of speaking at ABC, Association of Bridal Consultants. I do a
Yes.
lot for planners, but I wanted a bigger impact. And I think for me, I realized that Pretty Pear Bride could be the outlet for more plus size brides to get that inspiration and to see themselves in someone else. So I really started just so that brides, specifically plus size brides, could see bridal imagery that looked like them. Because when I
Mhm.
got married, 2004, a long time ago, um, I couldn't open a magazine and see a plus size
Yeah.
bride. There was no cover. There was no publication that even showed plus size brides. So I didn't get to see that, and I longed for that. Like I wanted to see someone who looked like me. So that ultimately is why I
Mhm.
created Pretty Pear Bride, just to be that imagery for people, so they could see what's possible to
Mhm.
look amazing and beautiful and be confident and wear a dress they wanted, and all the things that normal brides, but just on someone that looks like them.
Yes, 100%. And I think it's so cool that you started. When did you start Pretty Pear Bride? What year was that? Do you remember?
2011.
Okay. Yeah. And that's pretty far back. That was the year I got married. And so it's you were spearheading this
Oh yeah.
whole movement in the wedding industry for plus size. And so it's you are the girl to talk to about this. I'm so excited to just
You said
chat about it more.
thank you.
Yes, you have
You
seriously
really
created a
are.
movement.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's in the fashion world and we've seen it more inclusivity as far as plus size goes, but
Mhm.
as far as the wedding industry goes, you're it. So
Oh,
it's
it
it's
is. It's
really
funny to
cool.
think that, but it really, and I do have a lot of
Yeah.
people. They'll be like, "You're like the OG. Like you're the person that started talking
Yes.
about size inclusivity and plus size
Mhm.
brides before it was cool." And I was like,
Oh
"Oh,"
yeah.
I was like, "That makes me old." I was like, "No, it doesn't." But yes, it was like that.
Yeah, for sure. So, as far as wedding dress designers and retailers go, um, they offer some offer plus size options in their collections. And what are some of your favorites?
Ooh, I have a, and it's so funny because when I think about when I got married, it like literally, no joke. When I got married, it was David's bridal. Like I didn't go anywhere else. There was
Yeah.
nowhere else to go. And
Right.
no shade to David's at all because I think David's fills a gap that is needed, fills a
Right.
gap that's needed. But I think that between 2004 when I got married and now, there
Hmm.
has been an influx. Is it enough?
Yes.
No, but it
Right.
has been an influx. And I think that influx comes because one, designers are starting to see, okay, this is a market that one is going to pay because
Hmm.
I know how it goes when you're a designer. I know how it goes when you create products. It's based on demand. So if I see the
Right.
demand there and that demand equates to purchasing, then that's when I move forward. And I think they're
Hmm.
starting to realize that, okay, this is a demand. This is something that people want. And so when I look at designers, I see that there are a lot of even the higher, like Pronovius. Like Pronovius will make plus size. They will make plus anything that they make can come in plus size. And I
Hmm.
think
That's
that is where I'm
awesome.
seeing that influx where designers that don't normally are starting to. So you see like
Hmm.
your Pronoviuses, you see your Magasateras, you see, Waters, all these different ones, and they're starting to extend and they're starting to create
Yes.
extended sizes, which is great. Because I know for me, I never particularly wanted to have to say I have to go to a separate section. I
I
just want you to
know.
offer what's there in the
Yes.
size. And I think
100%.
that has been a big back and forth of like, is it a separate section? Are they just extended sizes? And I like to just shop where I want to shop. I don't want to say, okay, I got to go over here
Right.
in the corner and get the stuff. But I understand that that's how some people are, and that's what it is. But I know, like I
Hmm.
said, Pronovius has done really well. Maggie Satera, they're all really good designers. I think when I look at bridal salons, there has also been this infusion of specifically plus size bridal salons, which I think is
Yeah.
great. I think it's great.
Yes.
I know, like Ivy and Maine is one that I talk about a lot. They're up in New Jersey area, New York, New Jersey area. Then there's what is it? There's Brides by Young. She's in Indianapolis. I used to live there, so I know
Oh,
her very
cool.
well.
Yay.
Yep, she also has a place in New Jersey. They're just all different ones that are popping up that are specific to plus size, and
Hmm.
I love that. I
Yeah.
think for me, as being the inclusive champion that I am really pushing for all bridal salons to really start gathering and understanding that, hey, you can have plus size designs. It's okay. It's not taking away from anyone who's not plus size if you
Mhm.
add them in. And I think there's been a really big influx of that I've seen. Charlotte's Bridal is another bridal company up in Seattle that I
Oh,
work with a
cool.
lot. They've carried a lot of my design collaborations that I've done over the years.
So
And
cool.
that's just what they are. They're both. They have a huge selection of plus
Mm,
size, but they also have straight sizes. And so I think that
that's
is where I
cool.
really want to put my heart right now is because it's great to go to an all plus size salon. There are just not that many of them. And
Yeah.
so to think that you have to travel all the way from, let's even say Nashville, and you
Mhm.
have to travel all the
Yeah.
way from Nashville and go all the way up to Indianapolis just to go to Brides by Young because she is a all size include like exclusive plus size, it just breaks my heart. So I think
Right.
my big mission is to really work on trying to get all salons to carry some semblance of plus
Mm.
size sizes. And a lot of times they have the designers, it's just getting the sample sizes of those extended sizes or those longer sizes in the shop. And that can be costly on both sides because that's something that the
Mhm.
shop has to incur to get those sample sizes, but also the designer has to create that sample size. And I think that's
Mhm.
a big thing too. But so those are some of the ones that I know, and I always like to recommend people that I know. Eloquy is another one that's online. That's an online place, and they do really well for online fashions, plus size fashion. They're really good. But I never like to recommend anyone who haven't physically been there or
Right.
talked to the owner or been in
Yep.
there and know that they're going to be treated well. So those are ones that I have physically
Mm.
touched, know the owners. Um, so those are ones that I'm always going to recommend.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And you kind of mentioned that you've done some collabs with some designers. So walk us through that. Like, what are some of your collabs, and do you have your own line?
I
Like,
do.
I've kind of seen this on social. Like, I need to know more about this.
I think it's one of those ones where, and I know you will know this when I say this, sometimes you have to step away to fall back in love. And I think,
Yeah.
and that's what I say, I know you will know this. For me, when
Mhm.
I look at, so I have had multiple collabs. I had some collab with Eloise. I've had a collab with a company called Ella and Oak that I used to do a lot of collabs with them. I used to do a lot of their styling. They were in
So
New
cool.
York. They went online. And actually, I have recently, probably in the past year, acquired them. So I own them full out. I own that
Oh
company.
my gosh, that's amazing.
I know you, because
Congrats.
like most people have no idea most of the things
Yeah.
that I actually own and do, because I kind of keep
Yes.
it close until I'm ready to share. But
Mhm.
I think me having purchased them a year ago and really looking at the landscape of how like online marketing is going, online dress shop, like just looking at the landscape. And that's even how it was with Owl Society. Most people didn't even
Right.
know I took it over for like a year, almost 2 years,
Yeah,
because I wanted to sit back and kind of evaluate and see what I wanted to do with it. But I say
totally.
that because I had to fall back in love with it. And I'm falling
Mhm.
back in love with really being, one, the advocate for plus size brides in the wedding industry, especially in the fashion space.
Yeah.
Two, how to really make it not just specific to plus size, and making it
Mhm.
being to where it's a collection that can go into all dress salons, all
I
bridal
love it.
salons, so that that helps the salons have that size inclusive designer in store. So that was one of the things I was really waiting to where I could kind of build that foundation I have, because I do a lot of marketing for bridal salons. How can I be size inclusive? What do I need to do?
Yeah.
How do I go about that? White labeling, all those different things. I do a lot of talks about that and a lot of consulting about that. So when I look at Ellen Oak, I'm like, okay, now I'm ready. Now I'm ready
Mhm.
to kind of bring it forward as that player in the plus size dress realm. And it's so funny
Mhm.
because I like to describe it. And you have met me, so you know me. I am
Yeah.
not afraid of my curves. I'm a plus size.
No.
I go between like a 20 to a 16. So I am
Mm.
not afraid of my curves. I love to show off my
Love
curves.
it. Yes.
And that's what I want for a lot of plus size brides, because I think we are told that you can only wear this certain type of dress. You can only wear an A line. You have to hide your
No.
curves. You don't want to show
No.
them. And that is not me. And so there's so many people in this plus size bridal demographic that do want to show their curves. And that's what I want Ellen Oak to be.
Yes.
That's what
I
I want.
love
And
that.
I describe it, and I sometimes I hate describing it like this, but every time I describe it, they get it. Like, I really want it to be the higher end fashion nova for plus size brides, because I
Yeah.
want it to be curve hugging. I want it to be where it shows off your chest if you want to show off your chest, but it shows off your bottom if you want to show off your bottom. And it's like, I want it to be that way. And every time I describe it, I was like, okay, I know exactly what you mean. Everyone might not love
Mhm.
Fashion Nova, and I'm not saying it's going to be fashion like Fashion Nova,
Mhm.
but I want
Right.
the styles like that. Like, it's going to be for someone who wants curves and wants to show off their curves. So if you don't want to show off the curves, that's great. There are other designers for
Mhm.
you, but these designs are going to be for the plus size brides that wants to show off her curves. And I think that is kind of what I seen. I had to fall back in love because I've done other things. I've kind of
Yeah.
got them going, got them moving in the right direction. And now I can come back and really step into my love for plus size bridal fashion
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. You're looking at it with fresh eyes and you're kind of like building on it to see what your vision is for this whole brand. And I'm so excited to just like have it out there and everything and just see the future and what it holds for you. It's really cool. Um, so trying on wedding dresses is like a really vulnerable thing to do. Like, how can a wedding dress shop make or break your shopping experience?
I think when I have conversations with wedding dress shops, and like I said, I do a lot of talks at Wedding MBA. I go in and talk to a lot of bridal salons. Most bridal salon owners think, okay, well, the wedding dress shopping experience starts when you walk in the door. No, the wedding dress shopping experience starts when that person starts looking for their dress. That could be months before they even walk into your door. And I think as a wedding
Yeah.
dress owner or wedding dress salon owner, you have to understand that. And I just had this conversation. We were talking about it in another podcast I was recording. Imagery is first. I know most people are like, what language do I need to know? Like, what do I need to say? And I'm like, it's
Mhm.
really the imagery that comes first. Because if I am someone who's looking for my wedding dress, months, Actually, before I even get engaged,
Totally.
like,
Yes.
y'all, we know. Like,
Yeah.
we're looking for our dress way before we even get engaged. And I think if I am, and I'm talking specifically as a plus size client, I
Mm.
am very, very intentional about looking at what salons have images that look like me.
Yes.
And that is so important. So that starts before I even come into the salon. Before I even come
Mhm.
for my appointment, I'm looking. And I'm looking, okay,
Mhm.
do they have imagery that looks like me? Meaning, is there someone who's curvy? Is there someone who's plus size? Is there someone, and there are all different words that you can use. Whatever word you feel comfortable using is a word that we don't care to use. We just want you to use the word. But I'm just saying,
Mhm.
like, I'm looking for imagery. So that is where you start. That is, it does not start just when they get there. It starts with the imagery. Are you making sure that your website, that your marketing material, that your social platforms, that your newsletters that you send out, all the things that you're doing to gain your brand awareness for your company needs to include some parts in it of plus size, curvy, big body, large, full body, whatever word you want to use in it. That's where it starts.
Mhm.
Then
Wow.
once they come, it then, and like I said, I do a lot of training for bridal salon owners. And then it goes to, okay, I don't want you waiting till you get to the salon to find out and talk to me and reach out. Like, talk
Right.
to me before. What do you like? What do you feel? Because when, and this comes from my marketing and sales mind, I'm going to feel way more comfortable and way more willing to spend money with you when I'm actually there, when I've talked to you before. So I've
Yeah.
interacted with you before.
Wow.
And I always tell anyone who like have your stylist, whoever that person is attached to, that stylist needs to reach out. And
That's
preferably a video
cool.
chat if they can, but if not a phone chat. And if not, then some type of chat through email, but something to talk to them. Hey, what are the styles that you like? Can you drop some Pinterest boards that you've created? What are some designers? And I think a lot of times people ask for designers. I don't even care about designers sometimes because I might not carry that designer, so I just want an
Yeah.
inspiration. What do you
Yeah.
like? Do you like curve hugging? Do you like this silhouette? Do you like this on your shoulders? How do you like this to look? That is so much that you can do ahead of the salon appointment that will set you
Mhm.
up for success to get a sale. And that helps
Wow.
me get more comfortable, especially from a plus size perspective. Oh, they're active. Talk to them. I know who they are. I know, like, we've had a chat, so they get me. Then when you
Mhm.
come, I'm meeting you at the door. Like, I'm meeting you
Yeah.
at the door. Hey, how are you? Oh my gosh, we've been talking. If we've had a video chat, I already know what you look like. So then that's when
Mhm.
comfortability makes me want to buy. If I feel comfortable,
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy. I'm gonna like that's
Mhm.
something, especially when you're looking at plus size demographic. I want to feel comfortable. And I feel comfortable when I'm seen and heard. All these
Yeah.
steps are things that you can do to allow your client to feel seen and heard. So when they come, there is no like, I'm not feeling nervous. I'm not feeling because I know who my person is. I know who my stylist is. I've already talked to them. We've already talked about what I like. Those are ways that you can be more comfortable, that you can be more
Mhm.
comfortable when, as a bridal salon owner, and ensure that your client feels more comfortable. And so I think
Oh,
those are
yeah.
things off the bat that you can do off the bat.
Oh, yeah. That's so cool. And, like, how special to make a it makes a bride feel so special to, like, actually reach out and be like, "Hey, let's, like, have this call. Let's do a video chat. I want to, like, style you." Like, I think that just, like, ups the ante of, like, the customer care level,
Of
which is
course.
so awesome to do, like, for
Yes.
anyone. And
Of
you
course.
also mentioned, like, in the imagery as far as, like, attracting those brides and, like, showing that you do have size inclusive dresses, but, like,
Yes.
I also think, like, what is your take as far as, like, I mean, you own media outlets, I own a wedding blog, like, as it goes further than just a wedding dress shop. It's
Mhm.
like we have to show inclusivity as far as plus size goes, like in my imagery too. And, making sure that I'm showing like a good range of different body types. And so I think that's so important too. Can you speak any about that just
Well,
as
of
far
course.
as the wedding industry
No.
goes?
Yes. Like, of course. I
Yeah.
think that's why I was trying to make like I was talking about it from a bridal salon owner standpoint, but we can look at it from a wedding industry standpoint. And I think
Yeah.
if I'm a data person. So I'm all about
Mm,
data. Data shows people buy when they feel comfortable. If I can
Yeah.
make you feel comfortable, you're going to buy. I feel comfortable when I feel when I feel seen and heard. So if I can go to any publication, if I can go to any wedding vendor, if I can go to anyone and see that I'm there, that allows me to know, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you will accept my money. You will work with
Yeah.
me. And it's very subconscious and it's very psychological.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I'm not trying to be psychological like that. I was like, but you have to be.
Yeah.
Because psychologically, when we're doing business online, brick and mortar, anywhere, we have to think like our customer. Oftentimes, we don't think like a marketer. You know your craft. If you are a
Mm-hmm.
photographer, if you are a DJ, you know your craft. You're not a marketer, but sometimes you have
Right.
to think like a marketer. And you think like
Mm-hmm.
a marketer by looking like, what does my client want to see? My client wants to see someone that looks like me because they know that it's possible for me to actually work with them. That's what
Mm-hmm.
that means about the imagery. And it's not just a bridal salon owner. It is
Oh
going to be
yeah.
for anyone in the industry.
Mm-hmm. I love that so
Yeah.
much. That's awesome. So we can kind of wrap up here. Was there anything else that you want to share about plus size brides, pretty pair brides, size inclusivity?
No, I just love you having the conversation. And I know that
Yeah.
we know each other and we always talk, not so much about this per
Mm-hmm.
se, but
Right.
we always talk. And I just appreciate you having this conversation. The
Yeah.
first part of making a difference in the industry is acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Acknowledging, hey, where am I doing it? Where am I not doing it? What do I need to learn? What do I
Mm-hmm.
need to talk about? And
Yeah.
once we do that, then we can then move to the next part. But you just have done the first part, acknowledging by talking. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
biggest part. Because most people are like, oh, I don't have a problem. I don't even know I have a problem. And then they'll hear this like,
Yeah.
I have a problem. And not
Mm-hmm.
intentional,
Mm-hmm.
but they realize I have a
Totally.
problem. And then it comes,
Yeah.
okay, how do I fix that? But the first part is just acknowledging. And I just appreciate you helping someone
Mm-hmm.
acknowledge if they do or if they don't. Either way, you
Right.
just opened up that door and I appreciate you.
Awesome. Yeah. And you're just the person to talk to about this. And I appreciate all of the knowledge that you're spreading with your mission and everything that you're doing just with your line and with Pretty Pear Bride and with all the different publications that you own.
Oh,
It's so
thank you.
awesome. So tell us, like, give us a rundown of all your services and where people can find you because you're going to want to reach out to Chiffon. Trust me, if you need business coaching, like for real, like hire her because she like transformed my business. So like if you're a vendor, like reach out to her. So yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I always tell people that I like to put on Instagram, number one, but you can go to
Mm-hmm.
just Shafonne Myers or at Shafonne Myers for Instagram and get to everything else I own. Owl Society, Pretty Pear Bride, all the other publications I own. But then I also talk about myself and I talk about what I do and marketing and sales. And it's almost a way to see into my world. And I tell people all the
Yeah.
time, and I know that was one of the things we've always talked about, is like becoming your own personal brand. And I think that is so key to us in the industry now. And because you want to know, like, who are you? What do you do? Like, how's my
Right.
family? Like, what I like to do for fun? Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all where I share that on Instagram. And that's where I like to play. So, yeah, come send me a message. Don't be
Mm-hmm.
afraid.
Okay.
DM me.
Yeah. Follow Chiffon on Instagram. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat today. I'm so glad that we got to catch up. It's been so long and I miss you. So
See your face.
yeah, and you'll have to send us the link to that other podcast that you were just on too, and we
I
can put in
will
the
for
show
sure
notes
send
and
it to you. I
everything.
will
So
for sure. It'll be a good one. Yes.
awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much for chatting. Have a good one.
No problem. Thanks for having me, darling.
All right. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to the Wedding Reporter podcast. I hope you learned a little bit and had fun today. To find more resources and podcast episodes, visit NashvilleBrideGuide.com for more information. And as always, click the subscribe button and leave us a review. Until next time, I'm Alyssa DeChico, signing off.